Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to News9 Live. You're watching Game On, where the world of sports comes to life. And of course, we've got a power-packed show lined up for you. Of course, firstly, we've got to talk about India versus New Zealand. That test series is going to begin. There's a weather threat also. We're going to tell you all about it. Gautam Gambhir has spoken about complacency, when it comes to his own squad. There's firing action when you're looking at the UEFA Nations League. No Kylian Mbappe means no problems for the French team. And first up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at how India are going to look to continue with an unprecedented run of tests and success on home soil when they face an injury-hit New Zealand in the opener of a three-match series beginning on Wednesday. Since losing 2-1 to a touring England side in 2012, India have now won 18 consecutive series at home with only 4 defeats and 7 draws in a long span of 53 tests. Rohit Sharma's men head into the series on the back of a 2-0 sweep against Bangladesh, but New Zealand are far more superior side than India's eastern neighbours at this point in time. The Black Caps, the Kiwis, who began their Asian tour with a washout against Afghanistan in Greater Noida, face India on the back of a 0-2 defeat in Sri Lanka, with Tim Southee handing over the captaincy to Tom Latham after the series. Now the tourists will be without batsman Kane Williamson in Bengaluru after the former skipper opted out of the opener, only the opening match, due to a groin injury, whilst paceman Ben Sears was ruled out with a series of knee injury and replaced by Jacob Duffy. Meanwhile, Indian opener Shubman Gill, he may miss the Bengaluru Test due to neck and shoulder pain. According to a report, Gill had informed the team management of his discomfort on Monday. A final decision on his availability will be made on the morning of the match itself. Gill's potential absence could pave the way for Sarfaraz Khan or Dhruv Jurel to make a return to the playing 11. Sarfaraz Khan, who recently hit a double century for Mumbai in the Duleep Trophy, is the front runner to replace Shubman Gill. If Gill stays out, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul or Rishabh Pant will possibly step in at that number 3 role. On the other hand, Indian skipper Rohit Sharma, he said that the team is blessed with a strong pool of batters and he wants to build a similar stock in pace bowling so that injuries stop having a bearing on the side's balance. The comments come in the backdrop of delayed recovery of senior pacer Mohammad Shami and a shoulder injury to the left-arm quick Yash Dayal, who was drafted into the India squad for the recent series against Bangladesh. On the eve of the test match against New Zealand, Rohit said, and I quote, "When it comes to batting, there are a lot of options. We want to create the same in bowling as well. What we want to do is to create a bench strength where tomorrow, if at all anything happens to anyone, we are not worried. We don't want to heavily be relying on only a few individuals. That is not the right thing to do. We also want to look at the future and try and make sure that we get the right guys in as well." But hey, even as India are fresh from absolute demolition of Bangladesh at home, coach Gautam Gambhir has warned his side against complacency. Gambhir said, and I quote, take a look at this, "New Zealand is a completely different challenge. They are a very good team with high quality players. They have got players who can hurt us and do the job for them as well. So we respect them, but we do not fear anyone," is what the coach said. He went on to add that we need to be switched on from ball one, and that is the responsibility of support staff to keep players switched on, whether we are batting or bowling, it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, India topped the World Test Championship table, 5 places above 2021 champions New Zealand, and are eager to lift a title that has slipped from their grasp twice. But Gautam Gambhir is not looking too far ahead with the tour of Australia that's looming large as well. The World Test Championship is in June 2025 and the test matches in Australia begin on November 22. Right now, only New Zealand is on our mind and nothing else. When you play international cricket, you don't think about how to prepare for the 5 test matches in the Australia series or how to prepare for the World Test Championship final. You're looking at what's coming up next, and that's important, the series with New Zealand. But now, the test between India and New Zealand at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru may face frequent interruptions due to an inclement weather that has been predicted for the city during the week. The Indian team's training session on Tuesday was cancelled due to rain. Consistent cloud covers and rain have been forecast in Bengaluru for this week. The Karnataka capital is expected to receive heavy rainfall from the 16th of October till the 18th of this month, which raises concerns about the first 3 days of the first test match between India and New Zealand. Weather is expected to relent after all, but the weathermen had forecast rainy spells for the last 2 days of the match as well. Now, M. Chinnaswamy Stadium ground in Bengaluru is equipped with one of the best drainage systems for a cricket field across the world. The groundsmen in Bengaluru don't need more than half an hour to ensure the start of a match once the rain stops. But that's a big once. Meanwhile, India were eliminated from the Women's T20 World Cup after New Zealand scripted a commanding 54-run victory over Pakistan in Dubai yesterday. With the win, New Zealand qualified for the semi-finals along with, of course, Trans-Tasman rivals Australia, who topped their own group, Group A, with wins in all their 4 league matches. New Zealand capitalized on the lackluster Pakistan performance to dash India's only chance to make it to the last 4. A Pakistan win with an inferior net run rate could have helped India into the semi-finals in a 3-way tie on points. Pakistan were very much in the game after restricting New Zealand to a meager 110 for 6 in the 20 overs. However, Pakistan's own batting crumbled quite badly as they were shot out for 56 in just 11.4 overs as White Ferns entered the semi-finals with 3 wins from 4 games in Group A. Spinner Amelia Kerr took 3 wickets, but it was seamers Leah Tahuhu and Eden Carson who opened the floodgates to demolish the Pakistan batting lineup. Pakistan was supposed to reach the target in less than 12 overs to qualify, but they ended up being all out before that. Earlier, Pakistan bowlers gave a good account of themselves, restricting New Zealand to a modest total. But for a sloppy fielding by Pakistan, who dropped as many as 8 catches, New Zealand might not have reached the 3-figure mark. We're shifting our focus to the world of football, UEFA Nations League, that's coming up first, because France did not miss their captain Kylian Mbappe at all as Randal Kolo Muani scored a brace to set up a 2-1 win over Belgium and maintained French hopes of qualifying for the quarterfinals of the Nations League. Paris Saint-Germain striker Kolo Muani was on mark in the 35th and the 62nd minute, with Belgium's Louis Openda striking for the hosts in between his 2 goals. It was, of course, a harsh blow for the hosts who had dominated play in Brussels and fluffed a penalty of their own following William Saliba's ungainly lunge on Louis Openda midway through the first half. France came for the second half with more bite and intent. They pinned the Belgians back into their own half and took the lead when Kolo Muani headed Lucas Digne's cross from the left wing past the goalkeeper Cohen Castiles. Aurelien Tchouameni's expulsion in the 76th minute for France for a second yellow. It changed the complexion of the tie as France tried to hold on to their slender advantage and Belgium pressed for the equalizer. France held on for the victory and need a point from the next match against Israel. That's going to take place on the 14th of November to advance to the last 8 of the UEFA Nations League. But no Mbappe, no problem for France. Real Madrid forward and France captain Kylian Mbappe trained on his own at the gym and looks on course to be back for Real Madrid's next match. The club has confirmed that Mbappe hit the gym as part of a plan to recover fully from a muscle injury in his left leg. Now, Mbappe faced criticism, what we were also talking about, in his home country just last week for skipping France's Nation League games against Israel and Belgium to prioritize his return to action for Real Madrid. Thibaut Courtois, who continues his recovery process as well following the injury he suffered on the 29th of September against Atletico de Madrid, also trained on Monday, as did his goalkeeping understudy and Diary Lunin, who was back at work after a bout of gastroenteritis, according to the club. Meanwhile, Germany secured a place in the UEFA Nations League quarterfinals with a 1-0 win over old rivals, the Netherlands, yesterday. Jamie Leuling of Stuttgart scored on his debut to give Germany victory over the Netherlands in Munich and guarantee them one of the top 2 spots in Group 3 of League A. It was the 8th meeting between these 2 teams in the last 6 years, but for the Dutch, there was nothing familiar about Leuling. The 23-year-old was an addition to the Germany squad for only this month's games following an injury to Jamal Musiala. He was then called off the bench to start the game after an injury to his Stuttgart club teammate Dennis Undav in the warm-up. Leuling found the net after just 2 minutes, only for that effort to be ruled out for an offside. in the build-up. But he then blasted in the winner on the 64th minute. Captain Joshua Kimmich praised Jamie Llewellyn for an outstanding debut for Germany. Germany have now 10 points from 4 games and will definitely take part in the quarterfinals next March. The Netherlands, who were without the suspended Virgil van Dijk, a probable and tall figure in the Netherlands' lineup and defense, are level on 5 points with Hungary at this point in time. Well, shifting our focus to Portugal, because the head coach of the team, Roberto Martinez, he has insisted that his captain, the great Cristiano Ronaldo, is no ordinary 39-year-old ahead of their second Nations League match of the international break away to Scotland that's going to take place today. The coach added that Ronaldo doesn't work like a 39-year-old player, and he certainly doesn't play like a 39-year-old player. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, who has piled his trade with Saudi Arabia's Al Nassr since 2023, was on the pitch for almost over an hour in Portugal's 3-1 victory over Poland on Saturday before being replaced by Liverpool's Diogo Jota. Ronaldo scored the Selecao's second just before halftime to make it 3 goals from the opening 3 matches of the current Nations League campaign. Roberto Martinez, the coach of Portugal, however, came under criticism for his decision to stick with Ronaldo as his starting striker after Portugal's disappointing quarter-final exit from the Euro 2024. Mind you, Ronaldo led the line for Portugal in all the 5 matches at Euro 2024 at the tournament in Germany, but failed to score at a major international competition for the first time in his career. But the coach insisted that the age of a player does not play, it's the player who goes and plays on the pitch.
The age of a player doesn't come to play. Ronaldo doesn't work as a 39 years old player. He doesn't play certainly as a 39 years old player. I think we assess in every player in how they feel. Cristiano's been working really well in this camp. I think the difficulty of playing 2 games away from home is more how can you prepare between the 2 games, how can you recover with the players, and I feel that we've got 26 players, that was the decision to be able that we could use, and we'll have a team to start the game, a team to finish the game, and then even another group of players that they can come in the second game. So I'm confident that we can carry on adding information, but in terms of I've got no doubt that Cristiano after 60 minutes can be involved in the second game. I don't know if he can start or if he can finish the game, but he can certainly be involved as he showed in the last camp.
Well, sticking to football, but changing continents, there seems to be a prestige issue at play because Nigeria have pulled out of their Africa Cup of Nations qualifier in Libya and returned home yesterday, all in protest at being diverted and abandoned for hours in an airport far from the match venue. The Super Eagles were due to play Libya on Tuesday in the city of Benghazi, where they hope to seal a qualification berth for the finals in Morocco late next year. However, after being stranded for more than 16 hours at an airport 250 kilometers away from their intended destination, the Nigerian players said that they would not compete in the match. The Nigeria Football Federation said that as the team's charter flight was descending to Benghazi, it was diverted to Al Abrak International Airport and no alternative transport was offered to the Nigerian team. The Libyan Football Federation said that the incident was not deliberate and urged the Nigerian team to be understanding, adding that their own players had also faced travel difficulties in Nigeria just last week. Nigerian Football Federation Secretary General and the country's sport minister have reacted strongly to the situation.
We were really maltreated and there was nobody from the area that came to receive us. Nobody. We were just left with the security. In fact, it was when I saw that the situation was unbearable, we made arrangement to hire our own vehicles. We hired our own vehicles. They did not allow us to go out and join our vehicles.
There is no gainsaying the fact that we need to respect, our national teams. Our national teams carry, the national flag of our countries, our various countries. If you look at particularly the Nigerian national team, the crop of players that we have to go through, make a lot of sacrifices to represent our country and to play for it. So we must be interested in their circumstances and in their situation at every point in time.
Well, a prestige issue nonetheless, but let's shift our focus towards a story where it actually hurts in physical self. Lamine Yamal has a strain in his left hamstring and his injury is, well, not serious. Yamal's club Barcelona has confirmed the same. The teenage star underwent the tests after leaving the national squad following Spain's 1-0 win over Denmark in the Nations League on Saturday. Spain said that the 17-year-old was sent back to his club to avoid the risk of injury. And Barcelona, whilst sharing an update on the injury, did not give a particular timetable on Yamal's return. The club just stated that he will be out of action until he has fully recovered. Now, Yamal might miss Barcelona's next game at home against Sevilla in the Spanish League on Sunday. However, Yamal is expected to be available for the Champions League match against Bayern Munich on the 23rd of this month, and then the Spanish League El Clasico at Real Madrid 3 days later. Yamal will miss the Nations League home game against Serbia on Tuesday. He was a key player in Spain's triumph, let's not forget, at this year's European Championship. Yamal has scored 5 goals in 11 games for Barcelona this season alone. Meanwhile, after a landmark court decision for the soccer transfer market, FIFA said on Monday it will now invite key stakeholders worldwide for talks about updating rules put in question by former France international Lassana Diarra. The European Court of Justice ruled in the Diarra case on October 4th in Luxembourg that some parts of FIFA's transfer regulations did not comply with its laws on competition and freedom of movement for labor, whilst some analysts speculate that the entire global transfer market, worth more than $10 billion American dollars each year, could be upended. FIFA believes its consultations can focus more narrowly on player-club disputes where contracts are allegedly broken without just cause. The FIFA talks should include the Global Players' Union, FIFPro, plus representatives from clubs, leagues and national soccer federations. Lassana Diarra, who represented Real Madrid, Arsenal and Chelsea as a player, had signed a 4-year contract with Lokomotiv Moscow back in 2013. The deal was terminated a year later after he was unhappy with alleged pay cuts. FIFA and then the Court of Arbitration for Sport then found the Russian club terminated the contract with just cause and ordered the player to pay and cough up 10.5 million euros. Lassana Diarra argued his search for a new club was affected by FIFA rules, making his next employer jointly responsible for paying compensation to Lokomotiv Moscow. Meanwhile, a players' union, the European Leagues' group and Spain's La Liga accused FIFA of abuse on Monday as they filed a joint complaint about the governing body's international match schedule to European Union antitrust regulators.
This is indeed a very important day. Alex, David have mentioned it. That's the first time ever that we have players' unions and leagues, social partners together to lodge the complaint against the international federation and decision-making process on the international match calendar. This is unfortunate, but the message that we have together is very simple. Enough is enough. We can't take it anymore. We have now an international match calendar which is beyond saturation, which creates a lot of issues for domestic leagues in terms of scheduling, but also in terms of organizing other domestic competitions. An international match calendar which creates risks for players, for their health. And we've tried to engage with FIFA on that for years now without any positive response.
Well, news from the world of athletics. Kenya's Ruth Chepnyatik surpassed the women's marathon world record in Chicago yesterday, cutting down nearly 2 minutes off the previous best to win in an unofficial time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 57 seconds. Chepnyatik got off to a blazing start and left the rest of the competition behind her by the halfway mark and went on to claim her third title in Chicago as she bettered the previous best of 2 hours, 11 minutes and 53 seconds set by Ethiopian Tigst Assefa in Berlin last year. The Kenyan also chopped more than 4 minutes off her personal best of 2 hours, 14 minutes and 18 seconds, which she had set during her victory in 2022. Chepnyatik became the first person to win the women's marathon in Chicago 3 times. And Chepnyatik, who also won the Chicago Marathon in 2021 and 2022, dedicated her latest victory to fellow marathoner Kelvin Kiptum, who set the men's world record at last year's race just 4 months before he died in a car accident at the age of 24. In an emotional message, she said, and I quote, "The marathon world record has come back to Kenya and I dedicate this to Kelvin Kiptum." And take a look at this. An Indian origin investment management professional has raised over 25 lakh rupees for a Mumbai-based charity by running a half marathon in London. An economics graduate from the University of Cambridge, Neha Malhotra, completed the run in less than 2 hours. She raised about 8,233 British pounds, which if converted becomes more than 8 lakh Indian rupees. The amount was trebled as Neha's employers also contributed double of the amount raised by her, amounting to a total of 25 lakh rupees for the Mumbai-based charity Educate Girls to support girls' education in India. Neha strongly believes in the empowerment of women through education. Neha's father, Dr. Ravi Malhotra, who is a keen cricketer and badminton player, is a senior gastroenterologist in Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom. Neha has also played badminton and was captain of the Cambridge University team. Well, kudos to good doers like Neha. But with that, we've come to the end of this segment. Completely run out of time on Game On. We're going to slip into a quick break here. Top developments continue on the other side. Keep it with News9 Live.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
So I'm Payal Nath, the CEO and director of Kadam Heart. We're working with people, we're working with emotions, we're working with hands, we're working with nature. We are very clear, we want to commit to livelihoods, we want to commit to the planet, we want to impact 1 million artisans, which is 1 million families minimum. Be the change that you want to see.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry, and that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items, and that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India, and we will make a global mark, and I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
During a surveillance mission, the MQ-9B, a high-altitude, long-endurance Sea Guardian drone, procured on lease from General Motors by the Indian Navy, developed a technical glitch. Although it was navigated to a safe area and a controlled ditching performed off the coast of Chennai, it has raised serious concerns about an already controversial and expensive MQ-9B deal with the US. Why do incidents involving the MQ-9B have India worried? News9 Plus decodes. Let us look at a few other incidents involving the MQ-9B. Apart from this technical failure of the Sea Guardian, what has set alarm bells ringing are the claims made by Houthi rebels that they have brought down a number of MQ-9B drones down in the recent past. The latest claim came from the Yemeni military, which said that it brought down 2 drones in a week's time in Yemen's Marib and Sada provinces. They claim to have brought down the 9th such drone in almost a year. What is India's biggest concern? With Houthis allegedly bringing down these drones so easily, what chance does the MQ-9B have against India's adversaries like China and Pakistan? The military capability